There is something that almost everyone spends their entire lives not realizing, something so fundamental, so obvious, that it hides in plain sight. And yet once it's seen, it changes everything about how life is experienced. What is this truth that 99% of people miss? It's that you are not what you think you are. Now, before dismissing this as abstract philosophy, consider it directly. Right now, as you listen to these words, what are you aware of? You're aware of thoughts, feelings, sensations in the body, perhaps sounds around you, memories, images, impressions. But here's the question that stops most people cold. Who or what is aware of all these things? You might immediately respond, I am, but what is this I? When you look for it, what do you actually find? Most people live completely identified with their thoughts. They believe they are the stream of thinking that runs through the mind. A worried thought arises and they say, I am worried. An angry thought appears and they declare, I am angry. A memory shows up and they insist, I remember. But you are no more your thoughts than you are the words you speak or the clothes you wear. Watch your thoughts for a moment. Notice how they appear and disappear without your permission. You don't choose the next thought, it simply arrives. If you were your thoughts, how could you observe them? If you were the thoughts themselves who would be doing the watching, this is the realization most people never have. There's a vast difference between the thinker and the thought, the experiencer and the experience. You are not the content of consciousness. You are the awareness in which that content arises. Yet from birth we're taught the opposite. We're taught to identify with the content. We say, I am sad. Instead of noticing, sadness is present. We say, I am successful. Instead of, success is being experienced. We are trained to become convinced that we are the stories, the emotions, the identities, rather than the space in which all of these pass by. And that confusion is the root of almost all human suffering. Let me give you a simple example. Right now you're aware of these words, but you are also aware that you are aware of them. There's a knowing that knows the knowing. That silent, self-shining awareness is what you actually are. Not the thoughts about it, not the concepts, the awareness itself. And here's the extraordinary part. This awareness is completely untouched by whatever appears in it. When a painful thought arises, does awareness itself become painful? When fear arises, does awareness itself become afraid? No. Awareness remains clear, spacious, unchanged like a mirror that reflects everything but is stained by nothing. So why don't people realize this? Because from the earliest age, attention is trained to focus on the objects of awareness rather than awareness itself. We learn names for things, labels for feelings, concepts for experiences. We build an identity around this collection of mental objects. We say, I am John, I'm 35, I'm a doctor, I'm married, I'm worried about money, I'm proud of my achievements, but all of these are simply thoughts, concepts, stories passing through awareness. None of them are what you actually are. You are the space in which John appears as an idea. You are the awareness in which 35 years old arises as a concept. You are the consciousness in which doctor shows up as an identity. When this is recognized, the effect is liberating. If you are not your thoughts, then worried thoughts cannot truly harm you. If you are not your emotions, then painful emotions cannot truly overwhelm you. If you are not your circumstances, then no circumstance can truly diminish you. You are like the sky, and all experiences are like weather passing through. The sky is never altered by storms or sunshine. It remains vast, open, clear the space in which all weather comes and goes, and here's what becomes astonishing. Once you recognize yourself as this open, aware presence, life is transformed. What once seemed like a struggle becomes a play. Experiences are seen as passing appearances rather than threats. Thoughts still come, but you know you are not them. Emotions still arise, but you know you are not defined by them. The body remains, but you know you are not limited to it. Even the personality continues, but you see it as a costume consciousness is temporarily wearing. This doesn't make you indifferent. In fact, it makes you more alive, more responsive, more fully present. Instead of reacting automatically, you act with clarity, but here's what most people do. They spend their lives trying to fix or perfect the contents of consciousness. They chase after better thoughts, more pleasant emotions, more comfortable circumstances. They endlessly polish their self-image, enhance their personality, pursue endless goals. But this is like trying to improve your reflection by polishing the mirror. The mirror doesn't need improvement. It is already perfect at reflecting, and what you are doesn't need improvement either. It is already perfect at being aware. Now let's push further. You have no problems, none. That may sound outrageous. You might protest. I have plenty of problems. I have bills, relationships, health issues, goals. But look closely. Do you actually have problems, or do you have thoughts about problems? Do you have stress, or do you have thoughts that generate the experience of stress? Right now, without referencing the past or projecting into the future, without telling yourself a story about what should or shouldn't be what's actually wrong. Problems exist only in thought. In reality, there are only situations. A situation might involve money, but the problem is the story about what that situation means. A situation might involve another person, but the problem is the thought that it should be different. When you realize you are not the stories, situations are just situations, present conditions to which you can respond clearly, without fear or confusion. This is why so many spend their lives chasing happiness, peace, love, fulfillment, searching for it in relationships, achievements, experiences, spiritual practices. They believe if they can just get the right job, find the right partner, achieve the right success, then they'll finally be happy. But what they're looking for is what's doing the looking. The peace you seek is the peace you are. The love you want is the love you are. The awareness you're trying to develop is the awareness you already are. It's like searching endlessly for your glasses while wearing them. The very capacity to search is the thing you're searching for. That's why even spiritual seeking can become another trap. The one who meditates is already the very awareness they seek. The one who studies truth is already the consciousness in which truth arises. You cannot achieve what you already are. You can only recognize it. So how do you recognize it? How do you wake up from the dream of being a separate, limited self weighed down by problems? The simplest way is this: notice what's always here. Right now, notice that you are aware. Don't analyze awareness, don't imagine it, just notice. The noticing itself is what you are. Notice that awareness has no edges, no boundaries, no center, no location. It's not inside or outside. It's the space in which the very ideas of inside and outside appear. Notice that awareness has no history, no age, no gender, no success or failure. It has no story. It simply is. Yes, you might say, but I have a history. I was born. I've lived a life. I have memories, experiences, a personality. All true, but all of it appears in awareness. Your birth is a concept in awareness. Your memories are present experiences in awareness. Your personality is a collection of patterns in awareness. What you are is the awareness itself, the pure, open, ever-present consciousness in which all of it arises. And when you realize this, everything becomes lighter. Life feels less like a battle and more like a dance. You still participate, you still care, you still act, but now you act from freedom rather than compulsion, from love rather than fear, from joy rather than need. And you see that you cannot actually be threatened, because there is no separate self to threaten. You cannot truly fail, because there is no separate self to fail. You cannot be unloved, because what you are is love itself. This doesn't make you passive, it makes you fully alive. When you're not defending a fictional self, energy is freed up for genuine creativity, compassion, and presence. But here's the paradox: you cannot practice being what you are. You cannot work toward becoming what you already are. You cannot gradually achieve what has never been absent. All practices, all efforts can only point you back to this. They cannot create it. It's like using a flashlight to search for light. The flashlight can illuminate objects, but the light itself is already here. So what do you do with this? The answer is simple. You don't do something with it. You let it do something with you. When you see that you are not who you thought you were, life begins to live itself through you. Responses arise naturally, love flows spontaneously, wisdom surfaces without effort. You become like water flowing around obstacles, taking the shape of each container, but never losing your essence. This is what almost everyone misses. You are already free, already whole, already complete. Not perfect in the sense of flawless, but perfect in the sense of lacking nothing essential. The seeker is the sought. The experiencer is the experience. The knower is the known. You are not a person having a spiritual experience. You are spirit having a human experience. You are not a body with consciousness. You are consciousness playing at being a body. And here's the beauty. Once you realize this, you don't need to hold on to the realization. What you are doesn't come and go. It's the constant in which all coming and going takes place. You may forget. You may get caught in stories again. You may identify with thoughts and emotions. But the truth of what you are is untouched, unchanged, ever present. Like the sun behind the clouds, it never stops shining. So look now, not with your eyes, but with your being. What are you really? Not who you think you are, not what others have told you, not what your history suggests, but what you actually are in this moment. You are the awareness reading these words. You are the open space in which thoughts and feelings rise and fall. You are the consciousness in which all experience appears. This is what most people never realize. But you don't have to be among them. The recognition is available here now, closer than close. You are not who you think you are. You are infinitely more and at the same time infinitely simpler. This is the greatest discovery you will ever make. And the beautiful part is, you don't need to go anywhere or do anything to find it. You only need to stop pretending to be what you're not and recognize what you've always been. What you are has been waiting your whole life for you to notice it. It's waiting right now. All it takes is a simple shift of attention from the objects of awareness to awareness itself, from the contents of consciousness to consciousness itself, from the waves to the ocean, from the dream to the dreamer. This is it. This is the truth almost no one sees, but you can. The question isn't whether it's real. The question is whether you are willing to look. The seeing requires no belief, no philosophy, no effort. Only looking solo.